Chapter 16. Mark reached to open a com link, but Mindy stopped him. "Let's you and I talk a minute first," Mindy suggested. "You want to get our stories straight or something?" Mark grinned. "I don't have a story to get straight, Mark. When you tell the truth you never have to remember anything." "No, look, a minute ago downstairs I was ready to march up here and chew Beth out for acting like a schoolgirl playing dress up with her Barbie and Ken dolls who gets mad whenever she sees Skipper, but that's not how I should handle things. I think to some extent I get where she's coming from. I guess I never realized how important you two were to each other even after Missy brought me up to speed, and I can see where she is frustrated that we are together every day and she is stuck in space wondering if the guy she is coming to save is even going to care about her when she arrives and..." "Skipper was Barbie's sister, you probably mean Midge." "Right, Midge. How the fuck would you know that? And don't change the subject, we are talking about Mark, Beth and Mindy," Mindy said, irked at being interrupted. "I told her how I felt, months ago." "Geez, what does? Have you showed her?" Mindy asked. "Huh? How would I do that?" "What? Write her name in Morse with rocks?" "I did that already." "No, I mean, yeah, that's really sweet and very memorable, but you did that for all of us. I mean, have you initiated any contact with her on the Hermes from here? Is there something I'm missing?" "No, well, I haven't really talked to anyone. It's a depression thing, I've been pretty, withdrawn, and..." "Yes, the whole world has noticed that, but Beth isn't the whole world. Beth is special in your life, or she thought she was, and now she never hears from you. She sees you here with me, how is she supposed to feel? Oh, and I bet she doesn't know about the depression, does she?" "No," Mark admitted. "When Missy and I talked about this a few weeks ago she told me, Beth, well, you are apparently the only guy she has really loved in her life. She fully expected your relationship to pick up where it left off once the mission ended, and then she saw you die. She literally thought you were dead for the better part of an hour before Missy contacted the MAV, then she thought you might die from lack of proper care for a few days after that. She was your evac partner, right? She saw the dish hit you and you being dragged away. Then for the next year she thought you would die before you could be relieved. Now she is spending her life to do just that and finds out you are down here with the girl she thinks you replaced her with. Yeah. I get it, I guess. And now she sees me down here with you and, yeah, I can see that. Okay, so what do we do?" Mark asked. "Well, we talk to her of course, that is all we can do given the distance. Assure her that we understand, and that we're not down here falling madly in love and..." "What if one of us is already madly in love?" Mark asked, looking down, almost whispering. After a moment's thought Mindy replied. "Then that would mean both of us are." "Oh. But I'm not going to do that to that poor girl. We aren't going to do that to her. I know you care for her, probably as much as you care for me. Okay. All that will sort itself out later. Now, we just have to coexist and understand our feelings, all of our feelings, and Beth needs to know I'm not stealing her guy. She needs to know she has a chance with you, and honestly, I think she does. I don't know how this will sort out, Mark, but I have faith it will be okay. If you pick her over me, well, that will be your loss, but I will live with it and move on. I'm living my best life and I hope it goes on with you, but you control that, not me. And you control Beth's future too. I get that. It's just something we have to deal with until the mission is over. We've gone months following Missy's order and we will continue to, and that frustrates the ever-living shit out of me. But that's just the way it is. Now, let's talk to Beth. I think we understand the situation, don't we?" No, but maybe you do," Mark said as he opened the channel and keyed in the proper sequence to make it private. "Hey Beth," Mark began, "I hope you are where you can talk. So, first, I'm sorry for not writing you sooner, or calling, Skyping, whatever this is. Communicating. Well, there is some stuff about me, well, we will talk about that later. I can't see you yet, I guess I won't for 12 minutes or so, but, well, Missy wants us to talk and, okay, so you have figured out part of the story on your own. Beside me here is Mindy. After you broke it off with me, well, I was lost. I understand why you did, mission is first. I get that. It's not your fault. Anyway, a week before isolation I met Mindy. It was at the ASCAN class send-off party for me. Mindy worked at Sitcom, well, she told me the Department of Hipsters and... That's not important, Mark, get to the point. Mindy said. Right, well, we hit it off and for a week were, well, inseparable. I didn't know Mindy was made commander of Victoria until literally the day we got here, so it was a bit of a shock. So you know, I know we have a promise to talk when we get to Earth, we talked about that last time. Well, I made a promise to Mindy to do the same. I made that when I went into isolation, not when she got here, when I thought you had moved on. Either way, doesn't matter. Missy thinks you're hurting right now because we are here and you are, well, busting your ass to rescue me and now learn we are here and... Geez. The point I'm trying to make is that nothing is going on with us here and I adore you both. You're both giving up 2 years of your lives to rescue my sorry ass, and even if you were not, well, you would still be the most amazing people I know. So. I don't know what to do and... Beth, hi Mindy began, Mark is hurting pretty bad over this right now. I know you didn't mean to do that, but, look, you think it's unfair that I'm here and you're there. You're right. It is unfair. No doubt about that, and there is nothing we can do about it. I'm going to be physically closer to Mark for 9 months before you arrive. I know how you feel, because you were physically closer to Mark for 7 on the way to Mars. I hurt then with the longing I had, and yes, I may be the only person at NASA that knew about you two before launch. Mark told me. I ached inside, like you are now. But we aren't enemies, we aren't even competitors. This is something we are going to have to work through back on Earth. There are only a few ways for this to end. Mark decides to stay with you and drops me. That would suck because we are pretty awesome together. Mark decides to drop you and stay with me. That would suck too, because it's clear how much you two adore, respect, and love each other. Mark could drop both of us, which would really suck for all of us, or we could both drop him. Or one of us could. I don't see any of the last 3 happening. But that is for Earth, not Mars. Now, I can't do anything to get you here faster, but I'm to be the EXO on Hermes' return to Earth, and Missy is trying to teach me what that means. One thing it means is that I will be setting the work schedules and I make you this promise, woman to woman, for the first 2 months of the return, you and Mark will always be scheduled together. That way you will have him to yourself for 9 months, I will have had him to myself for the same. After that it will be a general rotation. We will have 2 pilots and 1 can sit right seat. Mark will be bringing back a lot of botanical samples he will need help testing and your skill set should be good for assisting him. Honestly, I was going to schedule myself for that, but I think it's best for you to work together and heal any harm to your relationship. I'm not your enemy and I'm not your competitor. We are both in a difficult situation and we can work together to sort it out, or work against each other. Space is not the place to work against each other. They waited until Beth appeared on the screen. She was red-faced and teary, and even more so as she watched the message. She was in her bunk watching the communication from the screen in her quarters, wearing sweats from her alma mater although Mark knew it was not the comfy Stanford hoodie she had worn on the trip to Mars. She looks so cute, adorable, and vulnerable that Mark nearly cried at seeing her despair. But, okay, I didn't mean to cause problems, it's just. Mark, I haven't heard from you in so long and I saw, Commander Park there and... Beth broke down in tears. Hey, I get that. Well, there is something you should know. I mean, why you haven't heard from me. Chris knows, but he would never tell. And Donna, our doctor on the Victoria crew, well, she knows too. Mindy knows, well everyone here does because they needed to, and it is time you knew too, Beth. I've had depression for years, and I can get really withdrawn. It is controlled with medication but I left my meds on Hermes except for a month's worth, and until I got to here, well, I was out. Donna knew about it and I'm taking my meds again and I'm fine now, but I was in a dark place most of the time at Ars 3 after you guys left, and the trip over here. I should have had you guys send them down in the OEP, but, well, I was ashamed and didn't really want anyone to know. My biggest symptom is not wanting to deal with people, or even get out of bed. Well, most days I don't want to get out of bed, so that may not. Well, look, I adore you. We promised to talk, and I've told you, I am so very much looking forward to that. I never meant to hurt you, I just can't cope sometimes, with people. Any people. I spent about 7 months just focused on keeping Missy alive. I knew I would die here. A lot of the time I still think I will, but you, Mindy, Missy, all of my crew, you don't deserve that. That's a long way to say, I'm sorry, and I will contact you all the time now. I'm back out of the dark. Oh, and for 4 of those months we didn't really have a radio. But no excuses, I've not been since. Well, I'm a jerk. But I'm good now, we're good now. Are we good now? I mean, I don't know how this will work, I don't know, you have been in every thought I've had, and I'm not even worth a radio contact. Mark, that's not how you tell a girl you are thinking of her. I'm sorry, but it's not. The depression, okay, but you could still shoot me a text, anything. It feels like you've forgotten me. Mindy was about to reply that Mark talked of her often, but Mark waved her off and asked Mindy to hand him his personal bag under the cot beneath her. No, you are unforgettable. Let me show you something. I was going to wait until we were all on Hermes. I wanted to surprise you, but, well, maybe now is the right time. We didn't have much extra room on the Rover, Beth. I just got to carry my small bag with 2 changes of clothes. So, I tossed 1 change for other stuff. That's probably why I smelled so bad when I got here, Mindy. Mark smiled. I tossed it so I would have room for this stuff. I wanted to bring it to you guys. I have Rick's crucifix and his water bottle, Mark said as he held it up. Foggle's laptop with his kids' pictures and such. Chris's chronograph, Mark gasped as he held the Rolex up, as he for the first time noticed the engraving on the back, and a puzzle that had vexed him fell into place. Mark stammered for a moment, then recovered. Chris told me someone special had given it to him. I thought that was you for a while, but now, well, I know it isn't. And this, I brought this. I had to. Mark said as he held up a well-broken in, warm and comfy women's size small Stanford hoodie. I'm keeping it for you. Sometimes I hold it up to my face and breathe in just to, well, I've thought about you every day, Beth. If I live to be 100 or die on Mars, I will think of you every day. Yeah, I think about Mindy too, but that doesn't mean you aren't in my thoughts and heart. I don't know what else I can say. Mark folded it carefully and gently placed it back in his bag like it was a holy relic. 12 minutes later, Beth's face changed to one of pure joy. I can't believe you did that. That is the most amazing. Okay, this is going to work somehow. Mark, I love you. Can I talk to Commander Park for a bit? Just, just us. Only if you call me Mindy. Mark smiled and went down the ladder steps to the common area. How did it go? Missy asked, while Donna and Anna stared. You'll have to ask Mindy. Why, Watney? You were there. I don't understand women. I think we've all figured that out by now.